Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. My name is Naiva Flory. I am a part of the Million Mom Movement Council, and it is my honor to be hopping on today for this special Lunch and Learn to be talking about diabetes in Native communities and how this disease really affects so many people, and not only in Native communities, in all people across America. 1 in 10 people will get diabetes in our lifetime, and I think that is a huge issue that we need to be talking about, because this is something that starts from malnutrition, that starts from not getting proper nutrition over time, and it is impacted and impacting our health over the time of not being able to get proper nutrition. So it's really important to be talking about this. And we are activists here at Purium, and what we talk about is really to help the health of our community, of the people around us. That's what we're really passionate about. So I'm super excited to be here today, and I have a couple of my sisters on here with me today, Vanessa Crane and Antoinette Chasing Horse. And I'm just really grateful that they joined me today to be able to bring some Native voices to share more stories about how it is in these Native communities and what's really affecting the people. So contrary to common belief, type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome can be reversed solely through lifestyle change. And this is something that's commonly, people are like, oh no, I have this, I'm going to have it for life. And it's not true. We can reverse it. And so factors in your everyday lifestyle from where you live and where you work can have an impact on your overall health and well-being. It can determine your access to healthcare, education, economic opportunities, and social support. And so people living in underserved low-income communities experience a disproportionate impact on their health due to the lack of resources and services. This is particularly true when it comes to malnutrition, which occurs when people don't receive the right nutrients in the right amounts. Malnutrition occurs in both children and adults, and in individuals who are underweight and overweight. It can be a devastating impact on their health. So we know that in a lot of these communities, and I was talking about this with my sisters earlier, is, we just don't have access to the type of nutrition that we have other places. Even the stores, the local stores, they just don't have the same type of food that we have access to. And the fruits and vegetables that are there are often not organic, and a lot of times lower quality because they've been on the shelf longer, they've traveled farther. And so there are some real food deserts out there. And so I want to go ahead and bring on Antoinette and have you share a little bit about what it's like on the reservation. Like, why is this such a huge issue? And I just want to bring your voice. So thank you so much for joining me. Welcome.
Hi, hello, Washte. My name is Antoinette Chasing Horse. I am originally from Washington State, from the Colville Indian Reservation. I am part Colville, Spokane, and Kalispell. I am married into the Chasing Horse family in the Rosebud Sioux, the Sitrungu Lakota Oyate. So I am here tonight representing our team, Chasing Horse Superfoods, and part of Purium. We partnered with them for our Chante Pack. And being Native American and growing up on the reservation where I came from in North Central Washington, I didn't realize how fortunate we were to kind of be in the fruit valley of Washington, and that my grandma grew a garden, which allowed us to have fresh fruits and vegetables. But not everybody is able to have that. And if we didn't grow it or kill it, it wasn't on our table, because the only thing that was available to us was commodity foods, commodity rations. And you'd get a block of cheese, you'd get white flour, you'd get lard, you'd get corn syrup, flour, the canned fruit juices. And everything was preservative, canned meat. There was nothing fresh fruit. And even today, it's the same thing. And you're given not only just the commodities, if you sign up for EBT and you are diabetic, you're only given an extra $10 for fresh fruit. And on most of the reservation stores, you're not going to find fresh fruit. The most fresh fruit you're going to find is maybe apples and bananas that are brown and bruised. And that's the access that we have. And it's just been really eye-opening being here. You know, we moved to the city. We're fortunate enough that we're looking for something greater for our people and something to bring back for our people. And these superfoods have been really amazing, really eye-opening. We started a year ago training with Naiva, me and a group of my sisters, and it's been really amazing what we're learning about food and nutrition, because it's one thing that our people have faced for years, and it's the oppression and honestly the genocide that was done on our people, not only through chemical warfare, but it was through the food and the schooling and the doctors. If you didn't go through IHS clinic and the doctor didn't tell you what it was and they didn't give the medication to you, you didn't take it. You know, you only took what you were given. And to ask any other questions, you were either beaten, starved, and in most cases, and in some cases killed, which they're finding now. You know, so this is the things we are facing today, and how to overcome that, and how to get the education out there to show them that our natural fruits and vegetables are our way, and going back to them and through these fruits and nutrition with Purium, it's been eye-opening seeing just the amount of chemicals and pesticides that are put on the vegetables that you buy in the grocery store or that are deemed organic. You know, and unless you grow it yourself, like in most cases, you know, you don't know whether or not that fruit or vegetables has chemicals on it. And you think you're doing something healthy, but then if the people where it comes from that are growing it spray it, then you're kind of in the same boat as everyone else again. But that's where the great products here have been amazing, eye-opening, the Biomedic, learning about that. And then just our pack alone, the Chante pack, it's similar to the fruit and veggie pack with Purium, the same thing, just added on the pre-meal capsules. But our Chante pack honestly was designed for diabetes. You know, it was originated because of our niece, Ariana. She has type 1 diabetes. And this was formulated for her in mind and anyone else with diabetes. It is amazing just how the biofruit, the green spectrum, the aloe digest, and the controlled pre-meal capsules work. And it's been really amazing for my niece, just to see the difference in her A1C levels and everything, even her hunger. The one day she took it, she's in testing right now. She had school testing today and different doctor appointments as well. But she was telling me the other day, Auntie, I had my shake and I had it this morning and I didn't eat. I was so busy all day. I didn't get a chance to eat. And I got home, tested my sugar, and I was worried. And her levels were normal. She wasn't shaky. She wasn't feeling fatigued. She's like, I feel really good still. So it was really good to hear her, you know, feel that energized and excited about her, just her day, because usually she's worried about, you know, if her blood sugar is too high or if she ate enough or ate the right things. So it was really good to hear that from her the other day. And then on the other hand, my aunt, she lives up in Washington. She was in the beginning stages of diabetes and she's very overweight. She was 299 pounds. She has high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and she lost 100 pounds in 6 months just on our pack. And it has been amazing for her. She went from being in a wheelchair to now using a walker and a cane. And it's winter time up there in the snow. And she's able to move around a little bit more, and she's sleeping better. And they are going to move her off of her sleeping machine when she loses 50 more pounds. And so she's got her goals, and her doctors are really amazed with her results and wanting to know what she's on and what she's doing. And it's just been really amazing just seeing the changes within the people that we have been able to reach. And tonight, I am really fortunate. One of my sisters, Vanessa Crane, is here, and she'll be able to share with you her story. And also, we have a YouTube channel where you can not only hear her story, but a couple of the other people's stories that have had diabetes and other different issues. And I'll drop that link in the chat. But I'd like to bring Vanessa on. Vanessa, I'd like to turn it over to you, sister.
Thank you, Antoinette. Hi, everybody. My name is Vanessa Crane. I actually live on a reservation up in Canada. I live on the Tsuut'ina Nation reservation. I am Cree, Lakota, Dakota, and Dene. The Tsuut'ina Nation is actually a Dene Nation. We're kind of related to the Navajos. So where my reservation is I live close to Calgary, Alberta, in Canada. And so I'm a diabetic. I've been a diabetic. I just did the math because I totally forgot. But I've been diagnosed as a diabetic for 21 years. And now, I think it was like last year when I went to go see my doctor, they were kind of considering that I might have been diabetic all my life, just like Ariana. Ariana is type 1. And that's what they've been thinking, considering that I might have had diabetes all my life because I've had health issues all my life. I was born with a hole in my heart, so I had to go through echocardiograms all my life. I'm also a recovering addict and a recovering alcoholic, and I've been sober and clean for 24 years. And I say that because being a diabetic, your body doesn't heal as fast as everybody else's does that is not diabetic. If your blood sugar levels are high, you have a really hard time recovering. Your body has a really hard time recovering from any kind of either an illness, a cut, anything on your skin, teeth issues, eye issues, anything in your body that needs to recover or heal. It takes a little bit longer to heal if your sugar levels are really, really high. Up here in Canada, we also, we're going through the truth and reconciliation process up here in Canada. So what that means is that a lot of our people on both sides of the border are going through traumatic, we're going through our traumas, we're going through healing. And those things too are related to our food as well, and how we treat ourselves, and how, how good we are and how much we love ourselves. So, everybody's on their healing journey. I'm on my healing journey. And about a year ago, I was in Las Vegas with my family, visiting my family. I have lots of family that live there. And I was there visiting them, and I actually got hit by a vehicle crossing the road. And it was about a week afterwards, one of my sisters gave me the Purium products. You guys know them as the fruit and veggie pack and the control meal capsules. So it was on November 22nd when I got hit, and it was about a week later, it was November 30th. And I remember it because I wrote a testimony about a month into taking the products. And when I first got them, I was kind of apprehensive because, as a diabetic, you got to be worried about whether or not whatever you're going to take is if it's going to raise your sugar levels up higher or drop them, so you kind of have to be a little bit more mindful about what you're taking into your body. And at the time, a year ago, my blood sugar levels were out of control. And I am not shy to tell you that I was not able to manage my blood sugar levels very well. Like I said, I am from Canada, so the way we count our blood sugar levels is different than in the States. In the US, I don't exactly know what it's called, but up here, it's like we're doing A1Cs every time we check. So my blood sugar levels, I think your guys' safe level is 250 and or 150. Our safe level, my level that I'm trying to get to is 5 and 6. And my sugar levels were sitting at 23 and 30 at the time, about a year ago. So when I got hit by the vehicle, my sugar levels were out of control, and I knew that they were out of control, and I had to do something. I had to do something to get my sugars to go down and to be normal so that my body would heal. And I wasn't in a vehicle when I got hit. I was walking across the street when I got hit by a vehicle. And today I am doing quite well. So, and that's due to these products too, you know, and I just have to say, like, my sugar levels were really high. What else was going on? Oh, my cholesterol levels were high. My blood pressure levels were high. Neuropathy in my feet, and in my hands, and a little bit in my hands. I had a hard time a year ago trying to hold anything together in this position. And as a Native woman, we do quill work, and we do bead work, and we do sewing, and we do hides, and we do all out of our traditional artwork. And holding things with your hands is really, really important. We do a lot of work with our hands, and I couldn't hold things. I couldn't even hold a needle. I was having a really hard time. I did make a medallion last year, about a year ago, and I did a lot of quill work, and my hands were all beat up because I was trying to really hold the needle. And so you can get neuropathy in your hands, and you can get them in your feet. And sometimes you can get it all the way up to your knees, the neuropathy. And that's when you just stop feeling things in your feet and your hands. So I had been hospitalized about 2 months prior in Vegas for high blood sugar. They call it diabetic ketoacidosis. And yeah, so I already knew my sugar levels were high, and I was really having a hard time. And being in the US, I did not have travel insurance, so I didn't have ways to get my medication. So yeah, that was kind of an interesting time. But so yeah, so I knew I had to in order to heal my body and be able to keep moving. And, you know, at the time, my shoulder, my left shoulder was really damaged, my left hip, my hips were out of place, my knees were really bad. I had quite a few broken ribs on my left-hand side. And so there was a lot of healing that had to take place in my body. And so when I received the gift of the fruit and veggie pack and the control meal capsules, we call it the Chante pack. And so when I started taking it, I started testing my sugar before and after to make sure that my sugar levels were not being spiked by because, you know, I know fruits can spike my sugar. You know, they say it's really good for you, but there are certain fruits that I cannot eat. You know, like bananas, they shoot my sugar up way too high. And, you know, I can't eat them, you know? So when I took the fruit and veggie pack, I had to test my sugar levels. So I started, you know, in the first week, I was taking it diligently, the way the products are meant to be taken. But what I ended up doing was I ended up putting them all together, the Aloe Digest in with everything, the Green Spectrum and the BioFruit. I just start putting them all together and making one drink and drinking that 3 times a day. Where I was sitting with my bowels is my bowel movements were very slow. You should be having at least 2 bowel movements a day. I wasn't even having 1 a day, maybe 1 every 2 days. So I really needed the Aloe Digest. And in order for your blood sugar levels, there's so many things in your body that has to be moving together with each other, you know? And it just seemed to work really well for me, you know? And at the time, I was really, really addicted to the foods that I grew up with. Fry bread, you know, bannock, you know, bannock dogs. The sweets, oh my goodness, the carbs, you know, the pies, you know, I'm a caterer by, you know, that's my job, my other job, my day job, or whatever you want to call it, my other job, call it my side hustle, whatever. But, you know, I love food, and my catering company is called Inner Fat Kid. And, you know, so I'm really addicted. I've been addicted most of my life to sugar, carbs. When I started taking the control meal capsules, it started changing my taste buds, I believe, because I started not wanting the carbs as much. I still wanted carbs, but not as much. I started taking 2 capsules with each of my meals 3 times a day. And even if I was taking a snack, I'd take one capsule with my snacks, because at the beginning I was ravenous for anything, for everything, you know. If it was sweet, I wanted it. And I never drank pop or soda, sorry. Up here in Canada, we call it pop, but I never really wanted soda when I was in the States, and at that time a year ago. But you know, and after the accident, I had a really hard time remembering things. And before that, I even had a hard time remembering things, because when your sugar levels are high, it affects your brain. You know, when your sugar levels are high, it affects your heart rate. When your sugar levels are high, it affects your bowel movements. When your sugar levels are high, it affects your digestion. When your sugar levels are high, you know, it affects your skin. It can affect so many things that we don't even know sometimes, and we're not even educated by the doctors. You know, here on the reserve, you know, Antoinette made a good point. You know, I think it's my generation. I'm 49, and my generation, we're what is that, Gen X? The baby boomers and the Gen X, we were like feral kids. We had to raise ourselves. So we weren't exactly shown, you know, like told that we could, you know, talk to the doctors, ask questions. What is this medication going to do to me? What's the side effects? I didn't even know what the heck a side effect was. I knew what a medication could do because I was a drug addict as well, you know. But, you know, going into the hospital, going into the health center, going into the doctor, seeing the dentist, you know, and not really putting it all together and understanding that diabetes really, really is affecting a lot of our people. In my family alone, and I have a really large family here on the Tsuut'ina Nation, it used to be my brother was the only one in my family that was not diabetic, and he was a really active man. Well, he still is an active man, but now he's a diabetic. And you know, I've even like tried to get him to take this product with me, because, you know, my sugar levels started, you know, after a month when I looked at, oh geez, sorry about that. I got a warning on my phone. Sorry, where was I? After the month after I started taking the products, I started noticing my blood sugar levels were starting to come down. I was needing less fast acting insulin. So a year ago, when my A1C was at 16, how much insulin I was using was 60 units of long acting insulin. And that would last me all day. And then I was using anywhere up to 22 units of rapid acting insulin to bring my sugars levels down at every meal. Anywhere from, say, a normal amount that I was taking a year ago was like maybe like 13 units to 22 units of fast acting insulin to bring it down, just so I could have a meal. And where I'm at now is I'm on 32 units of long acting insulin, and I only take 5 units of rapid acting if I need it. And I'm not always needing rapid acting insulin to have my meals anymore. And that is a big, big, big plus, because my mind is actually moving a little bit better. I'm remembering things, my mobility has improved even a month after taking the product. Because I did take notes too on daily of how my body was performing. My mood had improved, my mobility had improved, my memory had improved, my skin had improved, my hair had improved, my vision had improved. What else was there? Were so many things in there. And one of the big things was my mobility. And that was one of the huge ones. Also, my blood pressure at the time was very high and it was very erratic. And I was on 10 milligrams of blood pressure medication at the time. And right now I'm on 2.5 milligrams blood pressure medication only if I need it. And I have to check my blood pressure if I feel a little bit wonky. What else was my medication?
Incredible story, Vanessa. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, no, there was just so many things that were just such a bonus because of taking the products, and then I think it might have been like 6 months later, I started on the anti-inflammatory response package with the Biomedic and all of that, and I'm just doing so much better. Like my hands is where like the arthritis was really bad, and it's not as bad. It's getting a lot better. Like I'm able to move, and they say motion is lotion, so I keep moving. Got to keep moving, But living on a reserve and having access to food, even right now, like up in Canada, on a good day, on a good exchange rate, I could get my fruit and veggie pack, my Chante pack, for about $152. The way cost of food is rising up here in Canada, it is huge. Maybe $100 gets you 1 brown bag of groceries now. And getting vegetables is really, really hard. And especially in the wintertime up here in Canada. If you didn't have a garden and you didn't can your fruit and your vegetables or preserve them in some other way, you're not going to have any unless you spend the extra money to get the organic fruit and vegetables, right? This is where I supplement my fruit and my veggies, is through the Purium products. If I spend $152 on myself for my fruit and vegetables for a month, that will keep me going and keep my body healthy. So the way I look at it is if I can get $152 and buy my pack, I will know, and I guarantee myself that I will have my fruit and vegetables for that month. And then I don't have to spend so much on vegetables here. But, and that's just how I'm able to able to get by. But, I really want to thank Neva for helping our little crew here and, and giving us an opportunity to share, what we're going through, what we're doing for ourselves, and how committed we have to be to, our own healing journey, and realizing that we can be responsible for our health. I don't have to be reliant on a doctor to tell me what I need to take. I can be responsible for my health, and I can be responsible for my healing. And I just want to say thank you.
Beautifully said, Vanessa. Beautiful story. I love everything that you shared, and you gave so many great tips as to the products that you use, the experience that you had, the symptoms that you overcame through using these incredible superfoods as your solution. And so I really loved that you touched on so many important key points of what it's like to have diabetes and how to overcome the symptoms that you were experiencing. So thank you so much for your incredible story. And what I wanted to share with everybody is that people diagnosed with diabetes on average incur over $16,000 a year in medical expenses. Think about that for 1 minute, okay? That is a lot of money. That's over $1,000 a month that they're spending on their medical coverage to get the medication they need to overcome the symptoms of having diabetes. And so we have an incredible solution here, right? The fruit and veggie pack is incredible. It's under $100 a month if you're in the US, $152 if you're in Canada. And it's so incredible at just helping get basic fruit and vegetables. Like you heard these women share today, there's so many places in the US where it's a food desert, whether you live on a reservation or you just live somewhere that's rural or in another country. There are food shortages, especially in the winter. A lot of stores only carry apples and bananas. And if you're diabetic, like Vanessa said, she can't even have the bananas. So it is so important to share this message because this doesn't only affect Native communities, but it is very prevalent in Native communities. That's where it's most dense. And so type 2 diabetes affects millions of individuals and their families in workplaces across the US. And the total cost to care for people with diagnosed diabetes is upwards of $327 billion a year. And this is an article from 2017, which says that over a 5-year period, it would increase by 33%. So this is in the billions of dollars a year that people spend on the medical care that it takes to help them overcome the challenges of diabetes. People diagnosed with diabetes incur an average of the 16,000 I just mentioned, 16,750 annually in medical expenses. That's 2.3 times the medical expenses of a person without diabetes. So this is a huge expense, to people that are having this disease, and it's preventable. So you can get rid of type 2 diabetes and even prevent it if you know early on and you get tested. But also it's a lifestyle choice. If we're eliminating the overly processed foods, eating too much sugary, yummy foods, salty, crunchy foods, all those things that cause diabetes in the long run, it really does help over time because it's a lifestyle change, right? So like you heard Vanessa, over the first month, several months, she slowly started to see more and more improvements. So it is about the lifestyle. So if you know somebody that's pre-diabetic and you help them to get on a lifestyle program, you can really help them significantly to maybe never even get the type 2 diabetes. So, and a lot of it starts with different issues with just changing the environment and the habits that we have, right? Because we all have the habits of the things that we want to grab, the things that we want to put into our bodies, and we really just have to encourage them into the lifestyle. So we have some incredible products that can help with diabetes, to lower blood sugar, to help lower inflammation, to help with gut health and overall digestion. Like you heard Vanessa share in her stories, these are all things that are really important. So I'm going to give you all a list of products that are recommended. We already heard her share about the fruit and veggie pack, which is the Green Spectrum Bio Fruit and Aloe Digest. All three of those are incredible to just help somebody replace the unhealthy drinks, because we all know that the number one thing before somebody can change their diet is let's help them change the drink habits that they have, because drinking soda and sugary drinks is like the number one thing that a lot of people have in common, is that we're grabbing, think about it, every time you go to a gas station or a store and you want to grab a drink, what is available to you? I know that for myself, whenever I go into a store to grab a drink, I'm actually really disheartened by the choices that I have. There aren't very many choices that I actually want to choose. And honestly, the water is not the cheapest option. So think about that. If you're in a low income place and water is not the cheapest option, you're probably going to go for the sweet, yummy, tasty, cheaper option, right? It's just a thing that we do. The flavor, the sugar, we crave it. And then it becomes a habit, right? We habitually go back to this thing. And then over time, all the chemicals, the sugars, all the preservatives that are in those drinks cause havoc in our bodies. And so let's target replacing drinks. People are scared to replace a meal. Let's face it, we all love food, right? We all have our habits and we're afraid to go without food. So let's not replace the meal, let's replace the drink. And this is really the way that we moved forward as we launched this fruit and veggie pack, or the Chante pack with the Chasing Horse family, was really talking about replacing a few drinks a day. So instead of the soda, have a green drink or a biofruit or Aloe Digest, or mix all three together and replace your drinks with that instead. And over time, the significant differences over a short period of time were really incredible. So fruit and veggie pack with the Control Pre-Meal capsules, that's what we heard a lot about from these ladies today. Other really incredible add-ons would be the barley greens. The barley green juice is incredible for lowering your blood sugar and is just really good for alkalizing your blood. The Power Shake is incredible. Always recommend Core 4. So Power Shake, Apothecary, Biomedic, and Aminos. And our new dark berry is really delicious, tasty, and can also provide a really healthy, yummy protein source, as well as super xanthan, because as we heard earlier with the eyesight issues and inflammation issues, skin issues, super xanthan is really incredible for that. So those are some of the products that we can definitely stand beside as we share this with our friends and family members that might be suffering from diabetes and looking for solutions to how they can overcome this and feel better in their bodies and really just feel vibrant and full of health. And we have so many solutions here. So definitely, if any of this message touched you today and you're feeling inspired, reach back out to the person that invited you or shared this video with you. And Antoinette, is there anything else that you'd like to share? Or Vanessa, Melissa, did you want to share anything? Melissa wants to share. All right, Melissa, come on.
Hello, okay. Kane Dada, I'm Betu Washde. So my name is Melissa Onespot, and I am full native, many different kinds. I'm also Blackfoot, Dene, and identify with Lakota. So I am also from Canada, but I live in the States. And I've been on the Chante pack for almost a year now. And I did want to share a little bit of back history of why Native Americans have such a high diabetes. Okay, so long time ago, so like Canada, United States, we had First Nations that lived here originally before contact, and before contact meaning European when they first came. So the first Europeans that came, they traded, and they didn't live here yet, but they traded with the Native American community. And then they would go back to overseas and then come back. So there was a certain group that came and noticed that the Native people of our land were living a wrong way of life. So to them, they needed to help us because we were savage and we needed to be saved. So what happened was that in order for them to control us, they had to control our food source. So what they did was they killed off all the buffalo, every buffalo across the plains, because that's what we used to follow. We used to follow the Plains Indians. There's different kind of natives, and they all had different kinds of food source. But so what happened was that their great idea was to create these schools and take the children and put them in these schools and assimilate them into this Western society cultural mindset where, you know, you go to school, you get a job, you have one house, you stay in one spot, you know, because we were nomadic. We traveled around with the buffalo and we gathered. So we did herbs, berries, all the natural stuff. So anything that all the healing foods are grown naturally. So we knew that before, before this time, we already knew all of this stuff was healing to us. So what they did was they put us in these schools, they took our food away, they took our means to raising our children away. And then when we were 18, they kicked them out of the schools, expecting them to know how to take care of themselves, know how to raise children, know how to love, know how to self-love, but they weren't treated that well in these schools. So now, okay, so you think about it, you get taken away at 4 years old, and then all the way to 18, 16, whatever age they kick them out at, and expect them to be like a surviving adult, knowing how to do this and this and this. But what happened is that as time went on, our people got really assimilated into this way. So we were raised abusive. They really abused our people. So when our people became adults, they became an addict, with alcohol, sugar, like all the stuff that are not good for us, like today. So they really affect our people. And so what happens is that the rations that they gave us was flour, lard, and sugar. I mean, yeah, sugar, salt, just like that stuff that's not good for us. Just those 4 items. So what they did was they took what we had and we made fry bread. We made bannock with what we had. So this food helped us survive. It was a survival mechanism at first. So now over time, Native Americans claim that fry bread and bannocks are traditional food. It is not our traditional food. It was a survival mechanism for us to survive. Now that we've grown kind of out of that mindset where we're oppressed, now we suffer from these, okay, now everybody in the First Nation community thinks fried bread is a traditional food, which is like the most horrible thing you can eat for your body, because gluten is not good for us, or lard is not good for us. So that is a big of why our people suffer so much, is because we've been so oppressed with medicine, food, school, doctors, all that, and our people really do suffer from mental illnesses because of the abuse that they got. So, I'm a little emotional right now because I just lost my father, and he passed away because he had diabetic and cirrhosis from alcohol. All the things that he could have changed his lifestyle, could have survived, but my people they die like this. They die from diabetes and alcohol because of the abuse that we got growing up in these schools, and it's just a little history for you guys to understand, and why our people are alcoholic or drug addicts or overweight. It's because our whole lifestyle got stripped from us. And we had to do with whatever was put in front of us. And thank God our people are creative, because we survived. We're still here. We're still here and we're surviving. So now what our mission is to bring this Tronte Pack to our people, so we can help them get them out of that pit that we're put in. And it's no more, and I'm so grateful that I'm here. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you for taking the time. Thank you, Eva. Thank you, Vanessa, and thank you, Antoinette. Thank you for everybody. So I just wanted to kind of just, give a little history, and if you want, share it with other people so they understand, where our First Nations people come from and why we are the way we are, so thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Melissa, that perspective, because so many people don't know what it's like. They haven't experienced that. They don't know firsthand. And so it's really important to know that story. And I've actually had a lot of people reach out and say, what are these scholarships for that we're launching through Purium, our Purium Economic Empowerment Scholarship Program? And really, we launched that because we know there's so many families in need that need these superfoods, but might not be able to afford it. And this is a perfect example. right? We know so many of these people in these communities, $100 is a lot of money to them. And these women can vouch for that because I've helped them through this program, through their own scholarship. And as they reached out to communities, we've helped people over the past year have garage sales and sell, $100 car seat to be able to make the money to purchase their fruit and veggie pack. And so this to a lot of people is a huge opportunity that we can put into play. So as you're reaching out to these people that might need this opportunity, please also keep in mind that we have a scholarship program if they absolutely are in a position where they can't afford the products, but they are interested in this opportunity and joining our community. So Antoinette, I'd love to ask you to share a little bit about, you shared how the Chante Pack came to be, and you shared a little bit about how we're bringing, how back in the day, hunter and gatherers, and how this is really a solution. But I wanted to see if you would share the slogan that we had created from Ina, and a little bit about how Ina came up with this idea to present this, to represent this as a family, and also to translate to us what Chante Washdewi means.
Yes, Chante Washdewi means good-hearted woman. And this is my mother-in-law's name and the pack that she created and envisioned for our people. And it's to bring nutrition back through tradition. And our goal is to bring this to our people the best way we can. It has been really hard to watch a lot of the families struggle to raise the money to buy at least one pack for them all to split and share. And this is like our mission and our mottos, like, is if we can, and we've been doing the best we can, like with what extra money we are making, we buy packs and we send them to those that we know that are needing it, that are diabetic. And our goal is to get it out to as many people as we can back home. But the first step is educating. And that's what we're starting, to embark on as a team, is creating more education videos and directives that we can send out to our people to educate them on our products in order to be able to use them and implement them into the tribes. So that's our goal right now, is to bring these back to our people and get the pack to as many natives as we can and help them. Even just the Pima, Arizona nation is the highest, with 60% of all of their people have type 2 diabetes. That's over half. So it's more than just a disease, it's an epidemic going around. So, and it's all food-based. So, yes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me today, Antoinette, Melissa, Vanessa. Thank you all so much. And thank you all for joining us here on this Lunch and Learn through the Million Mom Movement. And I hope you got a good story out of this, a good message that you can share. And